are the 5 mistakes that all couples are making, regardless of who you are. All couples are making some of or all of these mistakes, and you might want to write these down, but also note which ones are you making. Okay, take note which ones that and be honest with yourself. You don't have to admit it to anyone, but just be wary of these mistakes and the ones that you're making, and that way we can sort of go about working out how we're going to make them work. All right, so the first mistake that all couples make is that couples stop working on their relationship. Okay, it seems like once people get married, they think, that's it. Now I can relax. Now I can stop trying. And so it's almost like, I've now won the race. I've got the trophy. That's it. I don't have to do any more work. And so what happens is people don't do any more work on the relationship. They don't they stop trying to get their partner to fall in love with them. They stop caring. They stop trying. Quite often people let themselves go, which we'll talk about in another minute. But what couples don't realize is that once you are married, that's actually the beginning of making it work. Any top sports star will tell you it's a lot harder to stay at the top than to get to the top. And that's probably a good way of viewing marriage and a relationship. Once you actually get there, you don't stop. You now have to work twice as hard to stay there. Okay, so that means continuing to work on your relationship, continuing to grow, continuing to get better at these aspects in your relationship, continuing to try and learn more stuff about your partner. I don't care if you've been married to your partner for 20 plus years, there's still stuff about them that you don't know that you can discover. Especially as we grow and change, you can keep finding out new stuff that's actually happening. Alright, so the second mistake that all couples are making in their relationships is that individuals, like I mentioned, they fail to grow. Alright, as human beings, we have this natural tendency to what they call self-actualize, which is to constantly get better, to constantly work on ourselves, and to sort of evolve into higher things and higher states that we're in. And quite often, a lot of people they will fail to do that growth. They'll stay where they are. They're happy. They're in a comfort zone. But what happens is your partner is continuing to grow as an individual, and so as your partner grows and grows and grows, you actually get left behind. And this is what happens when we say we've outgrown someone, okay, or there's no longer any connection. We start to drift apart because someone's growing and leaving the other one behind. Now, if the other one chooses to not grow, to stay at that same level as their partner, well then that partner is preventing the other partner from growing, and so they're holding them back, and this will actually create feelings of resentment and a lot of unhappiness, a lot of misery. So individuals failing to grow is the second big mistake that happens in all relationships. Okay, the third mistake that all couples are making is that couples don't have effective communication skills. Like I said before, these are not things that we are often taught. The majority of people out there don't actually know what communication is. Whenever I ask these questions to people, I ask what is communication. They say talking, or they say listening, or they say writing, or they say combination. These are all tools within communication, but the overall idea and purpose of what communication is, we don't really know. We don't really have a good idea of it, and so we don't we don't actually learn these skills. And because we don't learn these skills, messages gets all mixed up, and people have different emotional responses to that. And there's actually a video I made in YouTube that actually explains how fights happen and it's because of these lack of communication skills that I can send to you if you really like. It's interesting just how that happens. Okay, and again, this is not our fault. This is something that we're never taught properly. It's something we pick up experientially. But it's also really easy to overcome. You can just go out there and find someone, find a coach or a trainer, or a counselor, someone to help you learn these communication skills. Right. The fourth mistake that all couples make is that there's a lack of accountability and personal responsibility. Now, I see this all the time. I'll see couples coming in sort of seeking help from me, and when I ask them about what the problems are in the relationship, quite often, if it's a situation where we have a wife coming in, she'll start talking about all the things that are wrong with her husband and all the problems that he has, and why he's causing her to feel like this, and why this is all part of the relationship falling apart. You see, and then when I say to her, well, you need to come in, she'll then say, but it's my husband that has the problem. I don't have the problem. He needs to be fixed. But she's actually not looking at her own contributions to this relationship. It's like a dance. There are two people involved, and there are things that she can do to have a different effect. And quite often, it's a lot of people just focusing on what their partner needs to get fixed so the relationship can get fixed. The way I see it, if you're the one coming in seeking counseling, well, then you're the one that has the main problems, because the other one doesn't see that they need to come in. So if you're the one that's identifying problems, but not actually looking ones of your own, you need to look within yourself and see what is it that you're doing, maybe what is it you're not doing, and what is it you can actually do to help things get better. I'm not saying that means that it's all your fault, or that only one person is responsible for it. Quite often you will see when one person is making all the effort to make things better, and one person is not. You then come to realize quickly that it's a bit of a one-way street, and that's when you start to think about the way your relationship can go. But if you want any change in your relationship, you need to have accountability and some form of personal responsibility. Okay, and the last mistake that all couples are making in a relationship is that couples wait until it's too late to fix things. Okay, couples wait a long time. They wait for a lot of water to go under the bridge. They wait for a lot of they wait for things to happen. They wait for people to say stuff. Fights have happened. Quite often, a lot of resentment builds, and when resentment builds, you get unhappiness. You get unhappiness. You get a lot of angst, a lot of problems. A lot of stuff has happened. So then it's a lot harder to actually fix these things. If you start to fix things quite early, when you start to see cracks, you then fill up the cracks as they happen. You then don't have to try and fix a whole relationship, because that's a lot harder. And quite often, it's way too late to sort of fix anything. I see a lot of men who actually ring me up saying that they didn't notice anything wrong until their wife had walked out the door. If you had have noticed some issues, or even gone to the trouble of fixing those issues before she actually walked out the door, how likely would you have been able to fix that? And how likely would she have stayed? It's a big likelihood. So waiting till too late is the fifth mistake that all couples are making.